And hello, everybody.
Yes.
Guess what time it is? It's Wednesday.
10.
It is the weekly dose. Oh,
Lord.
I don't know what I ever did. I honestly don't.
You made the suggestion. That's what you did.
No, I started shopping at Tom's.
No, that's a
That's
good
where
thing.
it started. Shopping at Tom's.
No, that's the good thing.
Started shocking Tom.
Yeah, I don't know that we could actually shock Tom. I don't know. I
think
just.
so. That would be nasty.
I'm going. It's got to be pretty big to shock Tom.
This is true. We've got a few comments today. Few interesting things to bring up today.
We do.
So,
Once.
starting Friday, right, is the Fraser Valley Quilt Show.
Yes, it's going to be so much fun.
Tom Sewing will have a table there, booth, table, however we want to phrase it. There will
exhibition.
be
Not quite the word.
we'll
Yeah.
have some she's just throwing me right off. Okay, forgive me, everybody.
I'm just living up to my t-shirt. Be the reason that someone smiles today.
Yeah, she's taking it to heart. There will be sales.
Lots of sales
And of course, there'll be fabric and gift with purchase. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I have to tell you, it is really, really cute.
Yeah, so
And you will, and purposeful. It's both.
I'm
So-
going to have to go up in disguise.
Yeah, it's not going to work. Because, as soon as you voice something, they'll know it's
I
you.
can change my voice. Oh, there.
Oh, good. Okay, you know what? Whatever.
I don't know if I got enough sleep last night. I really don't.
Well,
think
I know
did.
I didn't. It was one of those nights I woke up. Some people find this amusing, but I keep track of the number of times I wake up in the night. Last night it was 5. So yeah, I could use a little bit more sleep. And we have new club fabric to show
We
you
do.
today.
Well, we've got new fabric kind of doubled.
Yes,
So-
we are bundling up on that.
So we got new fabric. This is basic.
The Basics Club. It is really pretty, very pretty. Look at those colors
Isn't it pretty?
and the patterns. Like
So
it
yeah,
is
so if you
really,
have
really
not
cute.
signed up for basics, you want to get signed up. And I don't know how many extra they might have for this month, but you want to just sign up.
Yes, because if you run the risk of there not being anything extra if you haven't signed up. So and that when you get certain color packets, it's let's face it, we can always use it. Now this one,
It's brown.
this is the Kona Club.
That's Kona.
They
yes.
are definitely basic fabrics that can be used all the time in anything. And the pattern this time is quite cute.
Yeah.
So you get in the fabric bundle includes 10 half-meter cuts and the pattern. You would still need to augment some of the fabric to make the pattern full. So that's another club. So
Guess what I did?
no.
We had Chippy come in. I stole a box.
She did.
I did.
She did. She didn't. Well,
I stole a
couldn't
box.
get it out of here by herself. So
So I got somebody to steal a box with me. Okay, so do you want to open it? We're gonna take
Okay.
you open. We're gonna flash some fabric.
they're
But
giving me a knife. They gave me a knife. They gave me a not as easy as you think to do this. Watch yourself. I have the knife, so you need to watch
Okay.
yourself.
All right. So you guys, yeah, close up the knife. Okay, you guys have got to see.
have some
Okay, we're flashing some fabric, so we haven't even seen this
Look
stuff.
at this.
Isn't that pretty? Oh, and if you're into like, so we get done.
Sunflowers. Oh,
That's nice. Strawberries.
strawberries. No, that is packed in there. Boy.
Okay, Jen, help us cheat. Because I can't.
Oh, so she has the knack.
Oh, she's been. Look.
Ooh,
Isn't that so pretty? If you're like, so there's, we want the strawberry one. Oh, it's the strawberry. Isn't it pretty?
That is so pretty.
So this is a sneak peek.
My She's going to be Vanna today.
Isn't it nice? So if you're into hydrangeas and blues and purples, oh, look at the butterflies. Oh, that is so. Okay, so this
is gorgeous.
This is a sneak peek, and I have a feeling that it might show up at the Quilt Show this weekend. So if it's something that you want to kind of sneak
To
get some
of it, at your cutting table.
Yes. Okay, you sneak in
Well,
there.
there's an opportunity to do so. Get in there.
Yes.
Now we also. Oh, that's some, and that's just one box.
Oh, yeah. So we've got more.
There's a lot more.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 boxes out there.
Of brand new fabric.
Yeah.
Which will be at the show.
Some are basics, but just look at.
And the new country register is here for the months of May and June.
Mm-hmm.
So this is always so much fun to read through. There's patterns, there's little articles, there's puzzles, recipes.
If you don't have a copy and you want a copy, we've got them here.
Yes.
Come. They're lots of fun to read and lots of information.
Yes.
Cool information
Yes,
in there.
they are.
We love having those here.
I read them all the time. Everyone that comes through, I read. Just to quickly go over classes, most of the classes are full. So we don't have a lot that I can get you to try to.
Well, we have some
join
upcoming
in.
ones
Yes.
to kind of give you to look out for. The basic one that started this week, so the embroidery basics. Oh, so much fun, so much information. If I could say so myself, which I did. But everyone had blast in that class. We're rerunning it in
July.
In July, it's already almost full.
Yes.
So if it's something you want to do, definitely get signed up for it already. If not, get on the waiting list and let us know if there's a specific day of the week that you would prefer it on. So when I book the next one, we can kind of do that.
And if there's anything you would like to see on the schedule, we are starting to build the fall roster. So give us a call. Let us know what you would like to see, and if we can somehow get it up there for you, then we'll get it on the list.
We should have my computer class coming up in
Yes,
June.
that's in June.
So if for
anybody who has problems
with embroidery machine, so basically it's saving files, so downloading them, transferring your files or whatever in regards to embroidery
and
machine.
we get a
that's
lot of
coming up.
calls about that.
Yes.
So get your name on that list and get in there, because to actually do it step by step took me twice, but I now have it. I got her under control. So it would be helpful, and you can just start moving forward with all those designs that you want to do.
Our embroidery club for this month is technically supposed to be tomorrow because it's the 3rd Thursday, but because of the show, it is next week. So if you've got it on your calendar for tomorrow, change that to next week.
Thursday. The covered rug is a class on May the 31st at 10 a.m. There's a free motion class been added for country folk, and that is it's in June. I forgot to put the actual date down.
Check the calendar.
Yes.
The calendar's the best.
I check it like daily just to see. I'm here.
I think there's a customer there that checks it more often than you do.
Yes, we do have one, because you can barely get it up, and there's the ping on her phone that she's put her name down for a class. Serger Club is June the 4th. the clear your space, clean your space that we've already got down, 2 down. And so probably it will be a good idea if we run that one again, because it's fabulous. I can't say enough about it, because it just gets your juices flowing up here.
Yeah, it's not just about cleaning the spot.
No.
There's so much more to
Yeah.
it. So
What it can do for you. And embroidery basics, which Lori has already got started on.
guess
So-
who we got with us today?
Yes.
We have-
Yes.
we have-
our favorite technician.
Yeah, and it's surprisingly he hasn't said anything yet.
I know. You
Usually,
didn't know it was him.
usually before we even started, he's pestering us. So
That's right.
I'm just gonna reach over here, grab this, and then we're gonna go and flip this around. Just gonna grab my chair so I can sit. And there's Tom. Tom's with us.
Maybe they can tell I'm tired. We have a lot on the go right now. So.
Yeah, we do.
All right, so
Today I thought we'd talk a bit about actually using certified sewing machine technicians. And the reasons for that. And it's a couple of fold. So one reason a lot of people don't think of is a place that's set up properly is also insured properly. So if you take a look here, okay, and then over here, within arm's reach, I'm touching $80,000 worth of sewing machines. It doesn't happen that often, but for those of you who've been around with us for a while, you remember we had a fire back in 2012 and everything burned down. If we hadn't have been insured properly, all of your machines that were in that fire wouldn't have been replaced. Because we were insured properly, those machines were replaced for you, so nobody was left out without a machine. If you're just working with somebody who's a backyard mechanic or just doing it part-time here or part-time there, chances are they haven't bothered to put any insurance on their place or on customers' goods on the place. You can just imagine what kind of insurance I have on this place for other people's goods if I'm reaching out and touching $80,000 in sewing machines and I have, now they're not all that expensive, but I have 150 sewing machines waiting for service in the back. Okay. I'm giving you a couple extreme examples here, okay? So I have the covers off of this is a Baby Lock Zest, okay? And it's a little guy. As you can see, it's very straightforward. It's not a lot, not super complicated inside. It doesn't take a lot of technical expertise to work with something like this. Okay, so if you have a basic machine like this and you're using somebody who's not associated and certified by a brand, you're probably going to be fine and get along okay. Where it really becomes an issue is when you get past this. Okay, so I've got a few examples here. This here is the innards of a Baby Lock Solaris. Okay, this is a $20,000 sewing machine. This Solaris, as you can see, has all sorts of components throughout it. Okay. On top of, you can see the main circuit board and all your different feed modules and everything. Over here we have a projector module that scans down. We have a laser guide module in here, putting laser guides down. Sensor systems for our bobbin inside, the thread cutter function. You can see it's a little bit dirty. This machine is in for service and we just took the covers off. We haven't blown it out or anything yet for them. Okay. Every one of these components, okay, is crucial to the full operation and function of the sewing machine. Just to give you an example, because I have this book page numbers memorized, not the book memorized, okay, but the service manual for the little Zest I put down there is 22 pages. The service manual for the Baby Lock Solaris is 468 pages, okay? It is literally impossible for any tech to do a full service on a machine like this without access to the service manual. And if they're not a certified store, they can't get easy or competent access to the manuals or to the parts. So for example, on a basic machine like we put down on the floor, a tech can work and adjust and play and tinker the couple adjustments that are in there until everything lines up and it's stitching good for you. if this projector is out of alignment, okay, and you don't work on projectors very often, if at all, I can guarantee you, you cannot tinker and tweak and play until that projector is lined up. I can guarantee that, because to line it up actually takes special tools and special templates. You can't just eyeball it, okay? Also, as part of that machine, okay, taking it all apart, okay, we have the front of the machine. Okay, as you can see, I have lots of circuit boards in here. They're all delicate, and they have to be careful not to touch them. You notice that I'm working here on an electric discharge mat. Okay, so this is actually tied in. There's a cable on the other end that connects to a basically a lightning rod. Okay, to take any electric static discharge, and I have a wrist bracelet. Okay, that when I'm working on the machines and taking the circuit boards apart and everything is connected to me. So I am grounded to that table.
I can ground them too.
Okay, as you can see, just over here, here's a bunch of other components and pieces that came off that Baby Lock Solaris, just to get the front cover off. Okay, now I'm emphasizing this. This one here is in for its annual service. Okay, and the young lady that has this machine has a couple machines, so this is one of the machines she uses. So you can see it's quite clean down in here. Okay, I'm emphasizing this because the next machine I'm about to show you, okay, was serviced somewhere else and has not actually been used, because that young lady has several machines as well, and I know for a fact, because I know them quite well, they have not used that machine since it was serviced at the other store. And I want to show you, let's move this guy over here for a sec. Take a look inside here. Okay, whoever serviced this machine, if you look in here where the front cover is on the front panel, they obviously did not take the front cover even off of that machine when they said they were servicing it. Okay, so when they left the front cover of this one looks like this guy. Okay, okay, so, and you can see all the stuff inside that. They left that on. When they blew out in this area, it just blew stuff further down in the machine. Okay. Now, it's important that you know how these machines work and how they come apart, because they change things on us. Okay, so we'll stick with the Husqvarna because that's the frame we're on. I'm gonna grab a different Husqvarna right here, which still has the covers on.
Okay, I'm just gonna wait here.
So this is the big sister. Okay, so the one we have apart here is an Epic 1. Then they came out with the Epic 2, and now we have the Epic 3. Okay. In the Epic 1, okay, in this area here, it was just a regular sewing head. In the Epic 2, they added a laser guide module to this area in here.
Yeah.
In the Epic 3, they've added a projector module, like we saw on the Solaris, that big thing up there for lining up. Okay, now it may seem like a little thing, but in this cover, which goes on right here, okay, on the Epic 1, all the screws for all of this area are the exact same size. On the Epic 2, the screw that goes in here is half the length. But other than that, is all the exact same size. And I have so many Epic 2s that come in, and the people that have serviced them just grab the screws and putting them in, and they put a long screw in here, which goes directly into the laser guide and bends the laser guide out of position. Okay. Also, as you can see, this is a little ribbon cable. Okay, and when we're putting this guy back together, there's a module that goes back on here with a circuit board, and then this one goes into that with a circuit board. If putting this back in, you pinch that cable's toast. Okay, and you can see it's hardwired into all the sides, and it runs all your panel up here on the front. So it then means replacing that whole piece or the whole module, depending on which portion it is and how it goes together. I recently just had an Epic 1 in, okay, where this piece here was broken because it was removed incorrectly. Okay, this piece, $171.49 or something like that. So 171 and change for that piece. Okay, but without that piece, this machine will not run. It needs to be connected in because it keeps the thread running down into this area, which is where our check spring is. And if you don't have it on check spring, the thread comes out of the check spring and doesn't work at all. Okay. Now, we spend a lot of money going to training, the certified training and stuff like that for these different brands, so that we're up on that. And so that's why I can tell you, when they added the projector module to this guy, there's an adjustment screw in there, okay? And unfortunately, the way they designed it is when you're working with that adjustment screw for your calibration, if you overturn it, the nut that it goes into falls off the back, okay? It is a huge process to get it back on, but without taking the whole thing apart to get that little nut back on, you cannot actually get the projector to line up again. Okay, so they keep making changes. This is why it's important to have people that are staying up to date and training with the different things as they come out with them. Okay, so move this guy over here for a sec. This is not just Husqvarna, it's Shinomi and Baby Lock and Brother and Bernina and Elna, Singer, Pfaff. They're all always coming out with new machines and new features. Okay, so this is the big sister to the Baby Lock Solaris. This is the Baby Lock Radiant. It's even bigger. And it has an even bigger projector area, even more stuff for us to work on and be trained on. And this is a $25,000 sewing machine. So when you're working with high-level specialized equipment, it's very important to make sure that the people that are maintaining it or fixing it for you are actually certified in what they're doing and know what they're doing. In fact, I've seen ads lately in the Lower Mainland area advertising cleaning of your sewing machine, and the way they word it is they're trying to intimate that for this sale price they're fixing your sewing machine, but when you actually read the fine print, all they're doing is going through and cleaning it, maybe taking a cover or two off and blowing some stuff further down in the machine so it's out of the visual area for you. So now you can see some of what's inside these high-end machines and how delicate they are when you're working on the service side. We have to work with small, minute adjustments, but they have to be very precise adjustments. Unlike the basic guy, you can't just fidget with it until you get it right.
Yeah. Okay.
That's me for good.
Well, okay.
Follow-up questions.
Well, I do have a couple of questions. Okay, so for becoming a certified tech, can someone just sign up with Janome or Baby Lock and just sit there and say, we want to be a certified tech?
So it's even worse than that. All the different brands, if you set up a store with their brand name, will let you take basically a one-day course and then throw up a sign that says you're an authorized service center. Not a certified tech, but an authorized service center. On the reverse side of that, you can take a technician that's worked at an authorized service center for 25 years and has been doing those machines for 25 years and goes to work for another company that doesn't do that brand, and as far as that brand is concerned, they're no longer authorized to do work on that machine anymore. So it's most important that you find a tech that you trust and a tech that has a good reputation, and then you follow that tech and hopefully keep that tech at the store where your brand is that you're working with.
Okay, so there's that. Just as you were kind of going through a lot of this stuff, it's just they're expensive machines. They're not cheap, and they're very computerized and everything else like that. Just a thought that I just kept having, it's like with my car 20 years ago, right? I remember, more than 20 years ago because I'm a little older than that. I remember my dad would take our cars to the local high school because they had the shop program to get those type of things, because like that, or you had that little backyard technician or kid that, you know, knew how to change spark plugs and knew how to do that with those kind of stuff. But my car now is so computerized
They can't do it.
that they can't do it, that I have to take it into well, mine's a Hyundai, but you know, take it in there because they hook it up to a computerized thing and to troubleshoot everything to do it that way. And I wouldn't take my $60,000 car to the local little mechanic around the corner because he goes, oh yeah, well, you know, whatever, because I don't trust that some electronic isn't going to get blown or whatever, that it's not the thing. So the flip side of it is, why would I take my $25,000 machine to somebody who I don't know knows how to fix it, that has never been trained on it, and
and as you can see from this Epic one, did they even take all the covers off to clean it properly and get in and service it properly? Because if they didn't take the covers off to clean in here, they obviously didn't oil any of the bushings in this corner of the machine either, because you have to have the cover off to even get to those bushings.
yeah.
So
it's just, it really boils down to, like, yes, you can save a couple of bucks by taking it to a thing, but what are you saving in the long run? So for example, with that one, because that wasn't oiled, so, or not highly unlikely that it was oiled. So in a short period of time, what's going to happen if that's not been oiled properly?
well, with good use, the dry parts, they wear, right? And so then that bushing and that shaft get worn out. So because you saved a bit of time and or a bit of money getting it done quickly and cheaply, you're now looking at the potential to having to replace the bottom right-hand bushing and the bottom shaft. That's if, when they're worn and start causing problems, they don't cause other problems in the machine, and that's the only problem.
So then you're looking at more
So
several $100s to
looking at
thousands of dollars.
Repair as
Yeah, I mean,
opposed
look
to
at this one
service.
piece that was taken off incorrectly. Okay, it's essential to run the sewing machine. Okay, it's $171. So it's a $16,000 sewing machine. So a $171 part is not that expensive in the grand scheme of the cost of the machine. But you've already spent $16,000 on a sewing machine, and you're getting a couple $100 to have it repaired, or you saved $100 by taking it somewhere, and now you're costing yourself almost $200 to replace a part that was broken. Okay. And are they gonna say they broke it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, the whole
Do
point...
they even know they broke it?
Do they? Yeah.
That might
So
be
the
fairer,
whole
yeah.
point really of this is not so much to, like, you know, like pointing fingers or whatever.
Yeah.
We want our customers or people informed. So what are you getting when you go in for service? You know, doesn't matter, because this is being seen outside the lower mainland.
Yeah,
It's being
it's
seen lots of
being
places.
seen
Okay,
everywhere.
where you take it, ask questions. Are you taking off all the covers and blowing it out? Where have you been trained? You know,
Well,
ask those kinds of questions.
recently I had a customer come in. There's a lot of Epic ones out there, and it actually happened to be on this frame, but a different version of the machine, okay, Husqvarna as well. And she brought me her receipt in, because the machine was only 3 years old, and she said she'd had it fixed once 3 months after she bought it. Okay, and there was thread stuck up in this area here. Okay, well, to get here, you have to take all the covers off. You're about 20 minutes to do that. Tech decided didn't want to do it and sat reaching through trying to pick the threads out. Okay.
I can do that.
But then he charged her by the hour for sitting there for an hour and a half picking out the threads. Okay. And literally, it's the 20 minutes to take the covers off. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. The whole thing comes off. Pop a clip on the back. Remove the pieces. Pull the threads off. back together, 4 screws back in, okay? On that particular one, they also charged 2 hours of labor because they decided that a portion of this had to be replaced, so it was almost $200 for the part. And then 2 hours of labor to take the covers off, which they should have taken off when they were cleaning the thread out anyway, okay? And then to remove the 4 screws, connect the 2 pieces back together and put the 4 screws back in. 2 hours of labor on that. And I have that actually in writing because I didn't believe her. I thought there's no way somebody did that. And not only did she have the receipt in writing, but they actually wrote out on the receipt the process they did, and that's the way they worded it. So I'm not even exaggerating on that. And there are times where techs are learning new things or coming across problems they haven't learned before, but that's up to us as a dealership to turn that into a training exercise, a training learning time. It's not up to you, the consumer, to be paying for our training and our education level, because we're constantly being trained, we're constantly being educated. We spend a ton of time on the education. I know Jen just spent 3 days doing education with Baby Lock in here at 7 o'clock in the morning for 3 days on the embroidery machine stuff, just on the sales side of it, right? So we're not charging you, the consumer, for Jen coming in for 3 days. That's part of running a business, and the shop should work the same way.
When you guys do run into a problem that you don't, and I use that word loosely because there's very little you have not come across, but on the new, well, it does happen, especially on these newer machines, because they change a lot. But you, as a dealer and a certified or whatever, you get to go to Husqvarna or Janome or wherever and contact them and talk with their tech. So you have not just your brain, which is huge, but you also have all the experience of the people who have worked on it and designed it.
If we as certified stores run into a problem, we can contact the manufacturer, the wholesaler, and if they haven't come across that, they actually contact directly the manufacturer and the engineers. So it can go, sometimes it takes a little longer to find out what the solution is for it, if it's something that they haven't seen too, but it goes in our chain of command, it goes all the way back up to the people that designed the actual machine. Like in this Husqvarna, if a problem came up that we hadn't had, and Husqvarna Canada hadn't had, Husqvarna North America hadn't had, it would make it all the way back to Husqvarna Sweden with the engineers and the design team, and they would problem solve it.
So yeah, so it's not, so there you have a support team behind you to solve that. So it's not, I mean, Google's great in some things, some things, but we're not just Googling going issue with chat GPT.
That's only going to get you to phrase it better.
Oh, we only get to phrase it better and stuff like that. So there's actual hands-on support and that kind of stuff that is behind you. And so, all right, I think, do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions. I marvel at these machines. Like, I'm not comfortable seeing my machine naked. It just bothers me for some reason. I don't know why.
We should have put a warning.
Yes,
this episode contains nudity.
Looking at the innards of them, I mean, I know it has to be done, but
some of it breaks your brain. Like I had that Solaris, not that particular one, but a Baby Lock Solaris on the workbench, and the next one I went to was an old early 1900s Singer treadle, and my brain broke at that point. Could not deal with the change in technology. I had to take a break and reposition my brain to come back to it, because you approach a Singer treadle a little differently than you do state-of-the-art high-tech equipment.
So I just want to kind of little caveat in here. The reason we really wanted to take and do this is we get a lot of questions, like what sets you apart? Like, why are you certified? Like, what does that mean? And we get all of these questions from people coming in and getting service. So we figured if one has a question, multiple people are going to have the same question. And so we just want to make sure that our customers and the general public have an idea of understanding that.
We want you to be an informed consumer, and we want you to work with real knowledge, not anecdotal knowledge.
Yeah,
So we're
and
not,
transparency.
we're not saying, take our word for it, these are complicated inside. I've taken the covers off, I've shown you the complication inside at a rudimentary level. I mean, it gets into very, very,
Yeah.
very fine detail once we actually start working on them, but just looking at it, you can just begin to imagine the complication that's involved in making sure every one of these components works just right.
Yeah, and it just.
There's a lot more going on behind the scenes than you think when you're just looking at a nice shiny cover.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and that is a flip side of why, you know, people go, you know, why is your wait time so long? Well, like you said, we had how many,
50.
About
150 machines. Is that we have built that type of a trust that people are bringing in their machines.
And about 10% of that 150 machines are machines that have been elsewhere and now they're here to be fixed.
Which, you know, and that is
So-
sad because
It is a sad state of
you know,
affairs,
that
but it's happening, yeah.
you because when you take something in and you want to trust that it is going to get
Yeah.
fixed.
Yeah.
And I mean right now, you know, money is tight for a lot of people, and when you spend money on getting something, you want to get your value in for you having to, you know, take it in.
You know, like in the car example, I have a family member has an old Honda CRV and it needed a component. And there was only one in Canada, it was $450 or $460. But they found it on Amazon for, I think it was $60. So they ordered it. It didn't work. And so then they took it into a workshop because they were just doing stuff, puttering at home. And so the workshop did a bunch of other stuff and the car still wasn't working quite right because the component that they had bought for $60 was not working properly. So yeah, Amazon has it cheap.
Yeah.
But is it the right thing? Is it the exact same specs? Is there a reason it's a design change? Even for the workshop, they put a new timing belt on and it came with a tensioner pulley, and there had been an update. And they had to go in and physically modify the tensioner pulley to fit on that model. Even though it was technically the right part number, some engineer sitting at a desk had made an update and hadn't taken into account one little thing in positioning set up on a particular version of that model, and then cascaded it down. This fits all of these models, but it didn't quite fit that model. And then as it was, they ended up paying the $460 to get the right part that was the one left in Canada.
So
Yep.
I mean, it happens, and that really is why, you know,
Yeah.
ask your questions, check the certification and stuff like that. And yes, we can learn
Yeah.
lots on Google, but really fixing those machines is
That's not Googleable.
There's no
that's not Google.
No.
You know, not
But-
saying that that's how, you know, other
Yeah, it's being done, but-
how it's being done, but it just
Having said that, I have had people make comments that they've taken a machine to a certain place and they've seen the tech sitting there on YouTube, and I've had to let them know that, like, when Janome does diagnostic videos for us, or Husqvarna or Baby Lock, you know, all the different brands, that's where they host them, is in a login area
Yeah.
in YouTube. So it's not uncommon. Like, you know, when I have to go and do something on a machine that I don't do that often, because it doesn't break down that often, I'll quickly just jump over to the YouTube videos in my login area.
But that's
just do a
only
quick scan
open
as
to-
it's only open to the dealers. You gotta
only
log
open
in
to the
together.
dealers.
So just because you see them on YouTube doesn't necessarily mean that they're learning on YouTube. It's
That's
just
right.
reiterating. It's easier to check the 10-minute click through video than it is to go and find the page manual and then read the engineer speak.
Yeah, there you go, yeah,
For
sometimes
putting
it's just
that
easier to
process.
skip through because
Because you're just
that's
looking for a
when-
refresher.
yeah.
You're not looking to learn it. It's just, we're working with so many different brands,
So many different
machines, over, like I said, you know, from Singer Trunnels all the way up to this kind of stuff. I need to refresh my brain what I'm working with on this particular, how does this?
Reset it to the correct
That's right,
year.
yeah, exactly, yes, okay.
All right.
All right,
Thank you,
fabulous.
Tom. Okay, I'm
Lots
gonna
of
flip
info.
this
Thanks.
around.
See you later.
That's got you. I'm gonna just slide over here a little bit so you can see us. So that's our theme for today.
That is our theme
That's
for
a lot of
today.
information.
Yes, and
New
although they're
fabric.
very pretty to look at because they're shiny and have all kinds of buttons, there's a lot of stuff going on inside.
Yeah, and it really is hard when we have, like, customers come in and sit there and say, I just had it in for service, whatever, it was working fine, now it's not working at all, or whatever. And then we, open things up and we find things broken, we find things this and that, and that is hard.
Yes, it
You
is, and
know.
that's not to say that periodically somebody gets their machine serviced and it goes home and it's just not quite tweaked. You bring it back and it's
Yeah, I
fixed.
mean,
They take care of it, and
people are human, and they're,
Yes,
and
yeah.
sometimes do make mistakes. I mean, we do have that. That's why we have our.
But if you haven't
our
even opened the machine,
yeah,
that's not a service. That's not service. The machine needs to be opened,
and
cleaned,
and blown out.
and
Those are
oiled in some places and checked over. That's a service.
Well, yes, because, like, what was it? Class on Friday. One of the ladies was here, and we were talking about maintaining like what you do at home, and she says in her manual it says right in there big, do not oil this machine. It needs to go in service.
Yep.
And then that, because so much of it's behind, and when it's electronic and then that, you just get oil in the wrong place. I mean, you're going to fry something.
Yes,
And so
yeah.
so they're even making them that, they don't want you to take off the covers. They don't want you to do that, because just one little tweak, and that's why it is important that who's ever
It would
doing
also
it
invalidate
really does
your
know.
warranty
It does invalidate.
if you do it yourself.
Yes.
bear
So
that in mind.
there's a whole whole bunch of things. It's just when you're spending $25,000 on a machine, we really do want to make sure that
It's worth having somebody who knows what they're
Yeah.
doing do the service on it, and
Yeah.
service is less expensive than repair.
yes. Well, apparently.
So anyway,
So
Okay.
but anyways, that's
So
what's
that's it for us today.
That is, and so just enjoy. It's kind of still overcast. It's supposed
Yeah.
the sun's supposed to come out, but we're supposed to rain most of this weekend, and then.
Well,
Upside downside, my garden's going to get lots of water,
Yes.
which is good, but
it is the lower mainland.
It
It's
is.
going to rain in the springtime. It's going to rain in the winter,
yes.
and all of the seasons.
Yeah. So it's going to be cloudy, and so some people will be a little on the sad side, so find a way
Be
to
the
be the
reason.
reason that people smile today.
I'm smiling, so her work is done. Okay,
All right, have a great
Good one.
week, and we'll see
Bye.
you next week. Okay. Short arm, short arm.